What's up, Fight House fans? We're back with episode 23 of the Fight House podcast. It's me, Jason Sutcliffe, with
Tristan Keddy.
And we got a good show today. We're going to kick things off with Kenney coming off a tough loss yesterday, week 8 of the Dana White Contender Series to Adam Antolin. He had it. Dana White even thought he had it. Didn't get the nod from the judges. So we're going to have him on. We're going to talk to him. We're going to see what he's got to say, what's next for him. McKee is going to join us to talk about his dismantling of Blair Tugman at Bellator 182. Great performance from the young 22-year-old, tied the Bellator record for most consecutive wins. So definitely going to have a congratulations for AJ. And we're going to close out the show with Charles Byrd, one of the newest additions to the UFC roster. Middleweight, picked up his UFC contract on week 6. Great fight. We got Randall Wallace, I believe it was, the second time around. He was a second time back to the show. Good for him. He got his contract. So we're going to talk to him about what's next for him, when we can expect to see him in the octagon, how he was feeling about the whole process. It's going to be a good conversation. Everyone stay with us. We got 3 great guests. We're going to be here talking a lot of MMA. See you soon.
All on Skype, by the way.
Boom. What's up, Fight House fans? We're back. We got Kenney on the line, fresh off a disappointing loss yesterday at the Dana White Contender Series. A little bit of an issue with the judging there, man. How you doing, Casey? Welcome back to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks, man. Always great to be back. But, I'm doing great, dude. I just got back home probably an hour ago. Just getting settled in. I haven't even unpacked my bag. Grabbed a little bit of whiskey to sit down with and enjoy the rest of this day.
Is that one cost as much as the one Connor was drinking the other night?
Definitely not. Stuff's not bad. Some E.H. Taylor.
Nice, man. So where you at, man, mentally after yesterday? You've had a chance to kind of let it sink in a little bit. How you feeling?
Dude, I'm a little bit disappointed, but it is what it is. Definitely not going to let it, get me down or anything like that. So, man, but fuck those judges, dude. That's all I got to say.
Oh, man. Does it eat at you at all that, you've got that, you had this perfect record, everything was going smooth, like one judge comes along, throws you a draw. It's not a loss, but it's not a win, right? And then you get another judging decision kind of throws you that L, and it's kind of like, hey, I didn't deserve either one of these, Does that kind of your feeling right now?
I should be 9-0 with the unblemished record, I was talking to Chris yesterday. Hey, I don't care what the judges say. Out of 9 professional fights, I've whooped everybody's ass.
Yesterday, I thought the fight was close but clear, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw the fight. It was a close fight, but it was a clear fight to me. Like, I thought clearly you took 1 and 2 and he took 3.
Right. It wasn't like I guess I should say, I feel like I kicked Antolin's ass, but, it was just exactly like you said, it was 2 high-level professionals. He stood in there. I thought my shots were solid, and I thought his shots weren't doing anything at all. You know what I mean?
There was definitely a clear difference in power in the first round and the second round, but more so in the first round. The kicks to the body, the kicks to the leg, there was a clear a difference in authority when they were landing, and I thought that was a huge difference in the round. Like, you were both landing, but yours had an authority to it.
Right, exactly. And I could tell by his body language, he was backing up, he was jumping out of the way, he was ducking. When he hit me, I just stepped up and was like, that's it, that's all you got. I didn't feel threatened by his power, the entire fight. Even the body shots, they weren't hurting me, they were landing, but it wasn't something, it was scoring points, you know what I mean? I felt like he was, scoring a few points here and there, and my shots were hurting him. He was doing 360s, falling down, stumbling into the cage.
Did a bit of the dip in round 3 have anything to do with just the fact that you were in a 3-round war with C.J. Hamilton just a few weeks ago now, 5 weeks ago or something? 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, 5 weeks ago, I think it was.
And then you're kind of coming back right now, and you're in another tough fight. Did you think that had anything to do with it, or?
I felt better in this one, man. I had a rough camp. I didn't get the CJ fight. I didn't get a full camp at all, and I got to kind of tone up a little bit with this one, but I still it was a short term, but I thought I held up. Honestly, in the third, I felt like I slowed down just a little bit, but I didn't want to start winging my punch. I kept everything super crisp the entire fight. You know, I felt like I mopped him up the first, and the second, you know, started a little slow in the second, but the second half of the second round, I thought I dominated like the first round.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, right? When I say it was close, but it was clear. Like I felt like that. Like I felt the first round there was no discussion, there was no debate for who that round went to. Round two, sorry,
maybe even a 10-8 round.
Yeah, I mean, I would have given it a 10-9, but I see where you're coming from. The way they score them now, it's a possibility for sure. But the second round, like you said, you started a bit slow, but I thought everything you landed was just harder. Like it just, it had more to it. There was more damage being done. You were kind of, you were the aggressor. I felt. I just didn't see how it went the other way. Even Dana agreed. Dana said right after, he's like, "No, man," he's like, "that the judge got it wrong," you know.
I got to talk to Dana a little bit, so that was pretty cool, man.
I seen that right at the side of the cage. What did you guys? What was that a conversation like? How did that go?
He just said, "I'm so sorry, dude." He's like, "I can't believe that just happened." You know, he's like, "I thought you won clearly 2 rounds to 1," and basically he was going to give me a contract if the judges would have swayed it the other way. You know, I talked to him afterwards in the back too, and he's just like, "Man, you know, golden rule, don't leave it to the judges. They can ruin your career." He actually he advised me to file an appeal with the Nevada Commission, so we're going to we filed an appeal for the second round. Not something I'm for. I don't really like all that shit, but the boss man told me to do it, so I did it.
And, you know, you're right there. Like, you're knocking right on the door. You're talking about literally someone saying, like, I would have gave you the contract if the judge goes the other way. What does that make you think? Like, when you're that close, you're
I was like, dude, sign me, man. I was like, sign me. I'll fight next week. And he goes, and as he was kind of walking away, and he goes, I know you will. That's why I like you.
So when you do you feel now, like, stepping out of that situation, do you feel like that call's coming? Like, you're going to get that last-minute call? Is it a matter of just stay ready now?
I think it's just stay ready, dude. Dana, you know, wanted to give me a contract, you know, last night. Again, I take full responsibility for not finishing Antolin. You know, 100%. If I finish him, even that choke in the third round, man, that was. Did
you feel like even though you I mean
I thought I won the third too. I'm being biased, but
I gave him the third, but I felt like you ended strong though, for what that's worth. Like, I mean, you ended as good as you could end, right? You got used to the choke synced in, and
yeah, you know, and you know, like I said, I'm being super biased on the third round, but the only grappling exchange that happened, you know, besides he had my leg up that one time, which I stuffed everything, you know, that he tried takedown-wise, but you know, that was not really a takedown, but I went to the ground right into a submission, you know, that was pretty threatening. Just, you know, ran out of time and kind of had to jump on it quick. But
so what happens now, man? Like, where do you go from here? Is it a matter of like get right back in there while your name's hot, or you want to take a break? What's the game?
You know, I'm going back to Indiana on Friday, where I'm from.
Yep.
I'm going to see my parents. They're going to be actually moving out here, so
cool.
I'm going to kind of take at least a week and relax, figure out what's going on with them, and try to help them get packed up or whatever I can do in, you know, a few days or whatever it may be, and just take a second to relax. And I've been busy, but after that week, I'm going to come back and get back to work.
Nice.
Not going to miss a shot. You know, that last-minute replacements in the UFC happen all the time.
Absolutely.
And it's been a year. I got a call from the UFC about a year ago to be a last-minute replacement on the Lawler-Woodley card in Atlanta. Someone got back to him shortly after, already on the roster, and it didn't go through, but it was right before my Tachi title fight. And you know what I mean? That call's coming. It's just, man, some things are happening for a reason right now that I'm not sure why, but maybe it's gonna work out. You know, I think that shot's coming. You know, I think it's coming. Just a matter of time.
What's your assessment of the last 2 fights, man? When you go back to the drawing board now, you walk back in the gym. You know, I think most people walk away with the feeling like you won both fights.
Right.
What gaps do you have to close? What's your assessment of your performances? Where do you have to get a little bit cleaner?
You know, I think maybe just, you know, cleaning up my hands just a tad bit. You know, my kicks are strong. I need to engage my grappling too. I get suckered into the stand-up war. I love it, and you know, I was super crisp this fight. I was impressed with my striking. You know, I thought especially being a young striker, you know, these guys, like what I put on last night was super crisp, super high level, and now I'm not just a grappler, you know, that can bang it out. I'm a technician on the feet as well. I
was shocked at the difference in your kicks from what I had seen anyway. Like, I mean, I don't know if they've always been like that, but from the fights I've been able to watch since I've been following you, I was really impressed yesterday with just the power, the technique, and the crispness. Everything seemed to be on point. Was that something that was the kick something you've been working really hard on? Because it seemed that way.
Yeah, I've been working a lot on it. Really just everything came together that fight. I feel like the last couple fights, you know, I put on good performances, but I felt like my striking was a little sloppy. How I spar is which was what showed on last night. You know what I mean? Like everything just came together, and I felt super relaxed in there, super calm. I wasn't, you know, I have a tendency to kind of like fall over my punches just a little bit, you know, get maybe a little too excited, and I sat back the whole time. You know, honestly, I did get a little tired in the third round. You know, obviously we were fighting. It was pretty high pace. I think I threw 300 strikes almost in that fight.
That's crazy.
You know, I was busy. But I really sat back, and I was waiting for him to make that mistake, because I felt like that, you know, I was going to try to keep that shot sharp. And every time I kicked him in the body, I could hear him slowing down. Every time, you know, I knew his leg was jacked up. I felt like all my shots every time we came in were, you know, they landed crisp on the inside, and they were hurting him. You know, I felt like that finish was coming even in the third round, and I kind of just even sat back and was like, all right, I don't want to, you know, give up a takedown or something stupid because I'm winging punches, you know, chasing third. Ultimately, it may have cost me in the end with the score, but you know, I was happy that I sat back and really controlled my strikes, and that was a big, you know, step up for me.
Definitely, man. You look real good. What I've seen on through Twitter and stuff. CJ Hamilton, he's been calling for a title shot with LFA. Jerome Rivera has been calling for a title shot in LFA. Is that something you got your eyes on? I mean, that's a guy you just beat. So if he's calling for a title shot,
they can have it, dude. I'm going to the UFC.
Fair enough.
I'm going to, and you know, if anything, I'll go back to that taking a week or a month off and start season 2. That would be, honestly, that for me, that's the worst thing. They call back.
Sorry, you're breaking up on me a little bit there. The worst thing that could happen
would be going back to the contender series. You know, I mean, that's not a bad thing, but I think that's where my fighting, you know, my next fight's at, either on a real UFC card or contender series again.
Sweet, man. Well, listen, I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to seeing you back in the cage. I hope you get a last-minute call, man. I really hope we can bring you back on the show in like 3-4 weeks, and you got a UFC fight, man, and things are gold, because I felt like you were there yesterday. I thought it was yours, man. I truly did.
Yeah, so did I, man. But, you know, like I said, everything happens for a reason. And, you know, forget what the judges say. Dana White loves me.
That's it.
He, you know, I got the boss man's attention. Talked to Snoop afterwards. He thought the same thing. So, you know, both of those guys thinking I win the fight and having them on my side is way better than any judges.
Sweet, man. All right, brother. Well, all the best, man. Like I said, I hope we can have you back in a few weeks and you'll be on some UFC card or doing something, man, and I look forward to it.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'd love to come back anytime.
All right, brother. Enjoy the night, man.
Yep, take care.
It's okay.
Casey Kenney.
It's hilarious. I don't know how many times we mentioned on the show about the Bruno Silva decision. It's just like, what are the same judges? Did they find their way into that somehow?
Oh my God! You know, it's like
those are two those are two brutal calls, especially the Bruno Silva one. That was
bad. This one wasn't as bad. I didn't think it was as bad. Like, I still stand by. I thought it was close, but I thought it was clear. You know what I mean? I thought that he took 1 and 2.
Yeah.
2, you can see you could see Antolin starting to fight his way back into the fight in 2, but I don't think it was enough to win the round.
Yeah.
You know, I thought he needed a finish in 3. That's when they were coming up for the 3rd. I was actually saying, like, Casey, go for it. Like, go for it, you know?
Las Vegas hasn't adopted those rules, that rule set yet, the new 10-8s and the new – I don't believe they have they? I'm sure.
I'm not 100% sure, man. You caught me off guard there. I'd be speaking out of school, man, if I answer, because I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they haven't.
I don't think they have, but I don't know.
Because if you're saying if the first round was that dominant, that would have given the you know – because it's true that the 10-point must system is just like – it doesn't allow for exactly what you're saying. Not like quite a. It's not a draw, and it's not. He didn't just edge it, but he won the fight. Like, I'm sure he won the fight, but because the first round wasn't quite, they couldn't score it 2 points. You know.
Yeah. You know,
how many different fights over the history of, like, you know, the mixed martial arts that we've watched, it's like would be completely different with a 10-8. Like, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. There's definitely been historical fights over time that a 10-8.
System like
would have been warranted,
where they give them out more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall, the guy deserves to be there, man. Like, he should be. He's right. He should be 9-0. He should be cruise control all the way to the UFC. Exciting fighter. He bangs. He's good.
If you fight twice in 40 days for Dana, you're good to go. Basically, you know. Especially
so.
Even if he did lose that just by an edge, Dana White would still be like, listen, he's still ready to go.
Yeah, you'd have to, like I said, you have to think that he would, right?
Yeah.
You know, you'd hope so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, hopefully, you know, like I said, hopefully he gets back on the Contender Series, or he gets that short notice fight. I'd like to see him out there. I think there's a lot of really, really, really good fights for him at 125.
Yeah.
I think he fits into that division nicely. You know whose styles I actually watched, and I think it would be such a great fight, would be him and Jose Torres.
True. Yeah, that would
stylistically,
be
they both have good, strong grappling. They both like to bang. They like to fight. That would be such a great fight.
Striking's good, yeah.
That would be such a great fight.
Yeah. I wonder
my God.
Jose, but he said he probably wouldn't fight.
He wouldn't fight
Contender,
on it. He wouldn't.
I think maybe he would. Who knows?
He said he wouldn't.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you could
never
right.
know. You could have changed his mind in a week, you know.
Listen. If Mick Maynard or Dana, one of those guys, reaches out and says, "Listen, bud, it's not happening unless it happens this way,"
yeah,
then you're gonna do it.
I feel like it's more honest to the fighters. It's like, listen, we're gonna pay you $5,000. We're not gonna make you go on the Ultimate Fighter. We're gonna pay you $5,000. 10 grand. Sorry, 5 to show. Yeah, 5 to
10. I think.
Is 10. It just 10?
I think it's 10
anyway,
flat.
Yeah, still, you get to 10 grand, and then, you know, you get your chance to get the UFC. You don't have to put it in your house for 4 months and take you away from your kids and your wife for some reason. You know.
Yeah, just show up and fight.
Yeah.
Let's show me what's up.
Yeah, it's way better.
Stepping away from the UFC for a little bit, we are going to bring on AJ McKee next. He battered Blair Tugman this weekend at Bellator 182. Tough fight. AJ controlled every facet.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to have seen him get the finish, but it was a dominating performance for sure. He called out Mr. Gallagher again at the end, so we're gonna, you know.
Was it Princess or
Princess Gallagher? So we're gonna go back and, you know, touch on that subject. We always seem to touch on that subject when we got AJ on, right? It always seems to end up back at
it's inevitable.
Him and Gallagher at some point. You know, I feel like it's almost like the Cormier Jones of, like, the featherweight Bellator division. Like, it's the only two names that seem to come up, right? It's like AJ and Gallagher, Gallagher and AJ, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the champion doesn't even get talked about. Like, no one's even talking about Pitbull.
You know, the UFC's jealous of that though. Like, because the Bellator hasn't really had that yet. You know,
well,
they have the two young stars where they're competing against each other. Bellator has had very few of those situations.
Well, you know, I feel like them having James Gallagher is so symbolic of the current state of MMA.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, James Gallagher, man, huge promotional guy, brings in lots of money, man, lots of people follow him. He's like, is he Conor? No.
Not quite.
No, but the UFC has Conor. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean?
It's so marketing plays a big thing in it.
But it's so symbolic of where they are. Like Bellator's got their thing, they're doing their thing, but it's not quite there, you know?
Yeah.
It's good. It's got a mystique to it, but it's not quite
They'll get there soon, man.
They'll get there soon. They're building a brand over there. They're doing a lot of really good things. They got to make this fight, man. AJ and Gallagher. But we're gonna talk about it. We got AJ coming on next. Stay with us. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about with AJ. So we'll see you back in a few. What up, Fight House fans? We're back with AJ McKee, fresh off his domination of Blair Tugman at Bellator 182. What's going on, AJ? Welcome to the show, bro. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
100%, man. How's everything going? How you feeling after the fight?
Good. Just enjoying life a little bit, hanging out, and about to get back in that gym and get ready for another one.
Sweet, man. I guess the congratulations is in order, man. You tied the the Bellator record for consecutive wins. Congratulations on that, sir.
Thank you. I'm ready to set a new one on it.
Amen. How's it feel to have this kind of stuff start happening? You've talked for a long time about these records, the history books, the things you wanted to accomplish, and now we're starting to get to that point where it's happening. So how's that feeling?
Honestly, this one kind of came unexpected, but it was cool. You know, it was surprising, but honestly, I could say I started to feel a little bit of pressure, but it wasn't that I felt pressure, but like I just felt anxious. You know, I felt like I wanted to go do something. You know, just because there was something bigger than just another win on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool, man. It was real fun, and I enjoyed it.
Awesome, man. I know you always like to finish. In this particular fight, you dominated every aspect of the fight in every position possible. How did you feel about the performance?
Honestly, I wasn't too happy with the performance, but I saw a lot of openings to where I could have finished him and should have, but with my left hand being a little messed up, I don't know. I wasn't too happy with it, but to me, the way I know what I'm capable of doing, I wasn't accepting it, you know. But at the end of the day, God gave me glory and He gave me victory, so that's all that really matters.
How is the hand, man? I know it looked kind of jacked up. You mentioned it in the post-fight interview. How's things now? How's it looking?
It's still a little swollen. The swelling's going down. I got like a large buildup on it. I guess it's from from hitting it over and over. You know, I used to never wear wraps as a kid, which was stupid. My dad used to always tell me I was going to mess my hands up. So I think the bone on it started to bend a little. So I got like a big lump in my hand that's always been there. But in the fight, it started hurting, you know, and I felt it pop, hurt a little pop. The doctor said I might have a slight fracture in it. So we'll see how it is and how long it takes to heal up.
Cool. Well, I know, we're closing in on the dates now, man. I know you're one of the youngest champion. You got these things that have been on your mind for a long time. We're closing in on those dates. April's swinging around. So does this still keep you on the time frame you want to be on to make these things happen? Oh,
for sure. I mean, at this point, it's not really I feel about the time frame. It's about the business aspect of it, you know. With my style of fighting, with the way I fight, and the way I'm gonna fight, we have to sit down and talk business, you know, because at the end of the day, this is my lifestyle. This is how I provide for my family. So with those records being what they are, the youngest champ ever, undefeated, and me trying to be the Floyd of MMA, I feel I need the Floyd of MMA money. Yes, I have to work for it, but at the same time, it's such a brand new sport, you know. It's growing and it's evolving so fast that people don't really know what to do or how to take it. So we're just going to have to sit down and have a business talk and see how things go.
Cool. Can I get you to just lean up? I can't see you quite good, man. Thanks, bro. Sorry, man.
No.
So what's your contract at? Like, how many fights do you have left before you go in there and you start to get that renegotiation going?
I believe I have 2 left in this fight. So 2 left in this fight. Hopefully I get on this November card, go over to Ireland, show all the Irish fans what a real fighter looks like. And after that, November, I believe that card's November, so November, I'd love to do another month turnaround and get on New Year's card, you know?
Sweet. I know you called out Gallagher again, speaking of going back to Ireland and showing them the real fighter. We all know what's going on when you say that. We know the meaning behind that. Is that fight going to happen? I mean, first he was saying he was going to vacate 145. Then he's saying he's staying at 45. Do you feel like this is a fight that inevitably it has to happen?
I DM'd him. I was like, hey, you're a pussy for going to 135. And then he goes on Instagram and talks about how he's staying at 145. So, you know, I feel like our relationship is a big brother, little brother thing. And, like, I'm the big brother always picking at the little brother trying to get him. But I don't know. Hopefully that little brother will grow some balls and man up and swing, and then I can make him a star on ESPN, World Star, and Sports Center Top 10.
I like it. You know, they always say, man, you hear people say it over and over again, there's levels to this shit. When you think about yourself and James Gallagher, how many levels do you feel like he is behind you or you're ahead of him or however you want to put it?
I don't even know. That's a good one. I mean, just style-wise, you know? Like, he copies the whole Conor McGregor thing, but, like, at the end of the day, the reason why I get mad is I'm like, come on, bro, be your own man. Like, you have a country that's already behind you as well. That's just how Irish people are.
Sure.
They support, they support their people. So I'm like, just be proud of who you are, Go out there, do your thing, and quit trying to jock him, man. Like, you're quoting all his quotes and all this other crazy crap. And I'm just like, all right, whatever, dude.
How much pressure are you putting on Bellator to make this fight happen?
Honestly, at this point, I don't even really care. But on the business aspect of it, I see what they're doing. It would be a big fight,
Absolutely.
They got to let the animosity build up and let the tension go and build it, because it is entertainment just as much as it is a sport. And honestly, I feel that it's more entertainment at this point than it is a sport. But it is evolving, and things are starting to be implemented in the sport.
When you look at Bellator, you look at the brand. You've been there from the start. Every one of your fights has been with Bellator, so you've been there for that growth. Next to the fact that they have a whole stack of legends, do you feel like this is the best fight that Bellator can make? Like, best young fighters, up and comers, whatever you want, contenders, however you want to put it.
Honestly, no. Like, it's an easy payday for me. Honestly, that's the only reason why I'd take that fight. It's an easy payday, and I'm gonna knock his ass out. Like, because at the end of the day, what does he have? He has a rear naked choke that he finishes everyone with. Okay, you finish Lyoto Machida's brother. Lyoto Machida's brother is not fucking Lyoto.
True.
He may have the same name, but they ain't shit alike. He was in Lyoto. Like, I'll fight both them dudes at the same time, honestly.
Do you feel like if he got in there and couldn't take you down with your wrestling pedigree, and
won't take you down.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you get in there and he's unable to do that, do you feel like you'll break him in there, like mentally?
No, I would torture him.
What do you mean when you say that?
I'd put him in guillotine. I wouldn't even put him in guillotine. I'd put him in a triangle, slap him around, let go, put him in an arm bar. No, I'd probably just keep putting him in chokes, slowly kill all the brain cells in his head. It's kind of evil. Whatever.
It's kind of evil. I like it. He irks you, whatever it is, man. How much would you like to do this in Ireland?
Even better. But my last name's Irish. McKee, the real Irishman's coming back, Let's do it.
Do you feel like you could get under his skin if you start talking that type of shit? Like, I remember Anthony Taylor, he started talking to him about, like, you're not really Irish, like, you're from Northern Ireland. He really started prodding at at James, sorry, and it seemed to get to him. Like, it seemed to really bother him when you start pulling out that, like, I'm the real Irish guy. You feel like you could get to him? Yeah,
but, like, with that, it's kind of... It's a touchy subject, because if you know the history of Ireland, a lot of people died for that, and it was between the North and the South. But, I mean, I could technically come the right way with it and be like, dude, you're from Northern Ireland, so why are you repping the tree color flag when you're supposed to rep the Republic flag, Or the Union, I'm sorry, Republic. So, technically, he's supposed to wear the Union flag because he's from Northern Ireland. Yeah. The tree color flag is for Southern Islanders. Okay. But that's what I tell them. Be proud of who you are, That's like me, that's like me rocking an Africa flag or some country in Africa, wherever my dad or my heritage is from,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm proud of who I am, but you're not from there.
It's interesting, man. Patriotically speaking, I know you were going for Floyd. I heard after your fight, you were like pro-America, let's go Floyd. For this weekend's past fight, what was your reason for kind of taking Floyd and not siding with the mixed martial artist?
He's American, bro. He's American, and he's the underdog. He's been suppressed. He's had everything, all the odds stacked against him. He's pretty much done the exact same thing I'm doing with my career. He's taken the long way, building his own name, building his own brand, and doing it that way. So just because of what he does and his work ethic, man. That dude's work ethic's out of this world, He's 50-0. No one can take that from him or ever say anything about that. Not what type of person he is, anything he's done. Like, I saw a funny meme, though, I'm not going to lie. It said 51-0 after he beat his wife.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh. I know, I see that, too. It's so bad.
I was like, that's so bad, dude. Yeah. But, you can't take any of that from him. At the end of the day, he's a man. He takes care of his family, and he's provided a lifestyle for them that they'll never have to do anything.
When, as a young man, and even a young black athlete, do you look up to him and the way he's handled his business, and kind of trying to move like that? Yeah,
most definitely, all the way. Because I don't know him as a personal person, but at the end of the day, you see his career, you see what he's done, and what can you say about it? You know.
True. What did you think of the fight in itself?
Conor, dude, what the hell? You're supposed to go out there, bully him, and try to rough him up and get him out of there quick. Yeah. Other than that, like, he had no chance. He tried to act like he was a boxer, throwing jabs. But at the end of the day, Conor doesn't really have a good jab. He uses his jab as a measuring stick to find his range for his left hand. So it was a good fight. I mean, Floyd, hey, does what he does.
Floyd does what he does. Amen. Listen, man, one last question before I let you go, AJ. Just a fun question, man. Now, we've talked about your dad and you fighting on the same card. Then I spoke with your dad, and your dad was like, it's happening. Like, I'm going to he actually joked about making a run for the 155 title. I liked it.
That didn't be a joke, honestly.
Sorry?
That shouldn't be a joke. My dad's a freaking specimen. He whoops
no doubt. No doubt.
He's not. I told him leave it alone, you know. Let me do all that. But, man, he can definitely do it.
My question for you, though, he brought up all kinds of names, Royce Gracie, different guys that he would like to step in there with. Who would you, if you could match make your father's fight inside the Bellator cage, who would you match him up with? Who would you like to see him compete against? And why?
Royce.
Why?
The respect. I would say the respect of MMA. Everyone respects Royce, and they feel he's the beginning and the MMA, you know? But all those guys from Royce and Eddie Bravo, all those guys back in the day before, when they were fighting in wrestling shoes and gis, they know my dad.
Yeah.
My dad's trained and beat the living hell out of anybody and everybody, but he never got the respect he deserved, you know?
Sure.
So.
Your dad's a beast. No, I wasn't trying to insult your dad when I was talking about the 155 title either. I was just thinking, like my man's trying to jump back in there and go for titles. It was crazy.
Crazy. I get more nervous for my fights than I do his.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'd want him to fight Royce, man, just because that he deserves that, you know. He deserves the recognition. He deserves to be known. And if he's not going to do it, I told him I'm going to do it. You know, that's what motivates me, is to make sure my dad gets the respect, and just the respect, you know, the respect and the legacy of the McKees, you know, because he's done some phenomenal things in the sport.
For sure. You know, I'm going to ask you one more thing, because it's something I've kind of been curious of, and I'm going to ask you right now. Your father and you have like polar opposite styles, like 180 styles. I mean, you have good grappling. You're a great grappler, but that's clearly not where you're trying to take it when you're in there. You know, most of the time you're looking to strike and bang. How is it that, you know, your dad is such a role model? He's your guy, but you have polar opposite styles when it comes to how you fight.
Honestly, I'm just fucking nuts. I'm nuts, and he's took my style and added to it, you know. He doesn't coach people to be one way. Honestly, he's the best coach in the game as well, because he doesn't coach one way. He doesn't show you one way. He takes what you're doing and he modifies it, and he adds little things into it. Even like Slice, his first fight, he was on his cover and roll real heavy. Now you see his second fight, he's got his cover and his roll, and he's throwing off his cover and roll. So he adds little things to your style and lets you do your own thing. And that's what coaches do, you know? They don't just coach you to do their way.
Sweet. Listen, AJ, man, I want to thank you again. You're always available for us. I really appreciate that, brother. And hope to see you back in there soon, man, and get to chasing that history.
All right, for sure. Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Always, brother. Enjoy the night, man.
All right, God bless.
All right, take care, bro.
He's a beast.
AJ McKee. He is a beast, man.
Yeah.
You know, the more I watch him fight, when I first was watching like Gallagher and him, I was like, oh man, like this will be a good fight. This will be a good fight. But then I noticed like who Gallagher's fighting.
Yeah, it's not
like who's AJ. They're putting AJ in there. I mean, the guys aren't like by no means are they like 21-1. They're not ex-champs.
Yeah.
They're not huge names, but they're tough as shit. Like Ray Wood, tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone he seems to run into is just like a juggernaut tough. You know what I mean? Like just these grindy guys, and he just pummels on them.
Yeah.
I don't think Gallagher can get it to the ground, and if he can't, he's food.
Yeah, it's just I think his age is way too well rounded for, especially at his age right now, and the youth that he has to try to.
Absolutely.
I mean, Gallagher's young too, but he's super one dimensional.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to talk trash or anything. He's got really really good submission game, but like the difference of trying to get AJ down, I don't think it would be possible.
No, I agree.
Really don't.
I agree.
Or not for long. If he does take him down, he's not keeping him down.
That's the biggest fight that Bellator can make right now. Like I know AJ is like, nah, not really. Like he's not on my level, whatever.
But yeah, you got to ride the Conor piggyback, and for sure. Yeah. He'd be insane.
Listen, he would be retarded to be around Conor. I shouldn't say retarded on there, but whatever. he would be out of his mind. Let's say it like that. To be around somebody like that all the time.
Yeah.
Who's ultra successful.
Yeah.
And not decide to pull a few things here and there and use them for yourself, which have obviously worked because he's 5-0 and he's headlining the card in Ireland.
Yeah. Especially, and that's the thing too. Like Conor's not going to fight before him. He's probably not going to. Maybe he might. But at the end of the day, like you could easily jump on that, the Irish thing. Just
yeah.
Especially back home, the numbers would be crazy.
Yeah. The fight's got to happen for Bellator. It's got to happen. That's
doesn't necessarily have to happen right away, but it does have to.
Over the next year, it does.
So the longer you wait, who knows what can happen?
Yeah, a year. I think within the year, it's got to happen. Mm-hmm. That's my personal opinion. Stepping back to the UFC now, we're going to get back on the phone with Charles Byrd and bring him in through Skype. I apologize. And we're going to talk to him about getting his UFC contract, making 2 trips to the Dana White Contender Series. Yep. Came out with 2 big victories. We're going to see what he's got to say. We're going to see what's up. So we'll be right back with Charles Byrd. Everyone stay with us. What up, Fight House fans? We are back with Charles Byrd, fresh off his UFC contract winning fight on the Dana White Contender Series Week 6. What's going on, Charles? Welcome to the show, brother. Thanks for joining us, man.
Man, how you doing, guys? Thanks for having me on.
100%. How's everything been? How you feeling after getting the contract? Everything's kind of settling in now, I'm sure. How you feeling?
It feels good. I mean, I got that part accomplished. I haven't done it twice, but I mean, I'm excited for my debut now. So
True.
Getting ready for it.
Sorry, getting ready.
No, that's kind of what I've been just doing now, just getting ready for that. So.
Cool, man. It must have been an emotional ride for you, man. You get the call, you put up a great performance, you get the finish, you don't get the contract, then you get called back, then you put up another good performance, you get the finish, you play the waiting game, all that stuff happens. Talk to me about that whole process, man.
Man, the whole process was it was definitely nerve-wracking. The first time, going out there, getting the finish, dealing with the opponent change. I thought I had it done. I thought I got signed to the UFC. But everything changed, and I didn't get it. And then when I found out I was coming back, it was even better. And then the nerves stuck in again. So I mean, it was definitely hard and challenging. But,
both fights were well, actually, before that, I'll ask you, how was the second time different from the first time when you were there against Jamie Pickett? How was the Randall Wallace fight different for you?
Just more pressure. It was main event, and I knew I had to have a finish. I mean, just the pressure alone, knowing you got to do it twice. Seeing guys get the contract the first time, and then knowing that you have to finish this guy. Randall was a last-minute opponent change. That was the third guy that I went through in that process. So I mean, getting ready for fights, you try to hopefully stick to the same guy you're fighting, but just anything can change. You got to be ready for it.
And nobody knows that better than you, man. I was looking at your Tapology page. It's ridiculous almost how many canceled fights and dudes have pulled out of fights on you is almost unparalleled to what I've seen in like my research for like interviews and stuff when I'm interviewing guys. A lot, man. How frustrating is that for you? Like when you're trying to get into a rhythm and get your career into a rhythm where you're fighting maybe every 4 months and you're trying to do your thing. How difficult is it for you when these guys you just can't seem to make it to fight night?
I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, to put in the camp, you talk to plenty of fighters. I mean, you put a lot into it. You put a lot of, time, effort away from your family, getting ready for fights. And they don't fall through. You don't get the payday, or you just don't get the glory of winning the fight. I mean, so. Definitely so.
Absolutely. This was almost an identical fight. The Randall Wallace fight was so similar to the first fight you had with Pickett, Were you at all how were you feeling after the fight? Did you feel like you had done enough? Were you nervous that like it was kind of the same thing? Like you got in a little bit of trouble early, your ground game kicked in, your athleticism kicked in, you were able to take things over, cruise yourself into a submission victory. You almost caught both of them at the end of the first round. That guy kind of got lucky. Wallace did at the end of one and ended up going down in two. How were you feeling at the end of the fight with Wallace? Were you like, oh man, like another situation? Like,
yeah, I mean, I was definitely kind of like, I don't know if I did enough. You know, I wanted the first round, but I mean, you just never know. I mean, Dana White and all the matchmakers, you just never know. You know, I'm sure you've seen the Contender Series with guys that went out there and knocked guys out and still don't get a contract. You just never know.
Yeah, it is an interesting show and concept when it comes down to it, because like you can't just go on and winning isn't enough, right? It's like it's one of those shows where it's like winning's not enough. You got to go out and do something over the top. You know what I mean? So it's definitely an interesting concept like that, and it adds a whole different level of stress to you guys as fighters. Because I mean, I'm sure when you're used to fighting with your promotions, like you're going out there to get the W, you have your game plan, you're going to put into effect whatever that is. But in this case, it seems like it's like you can't take that approach. It's like, no, you got to go out there and kind of throw it to the wind.
Yeah, and the big difference is no crowd, so you don't have that to feed off of. Dana White and the matchmakers are sitting right there. So I mean, you just kind of have all those variables, that kind of put you in this. It was the most pressure I've had in any fight. I mean, obviously, and of course, I mean, it's the UFC, it's Dana White, Contender Series, but this is different. I mean, it was something I had never experienced before.
Yeah, imagine that it was. Given the fact, like it was really hard for you to get fights. Like when I was looking back through your tap out, I think it was like since 2013 you've had like 4 fights. Was it surprising for you to even end up in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I just, it was a little bit. I mean, I've always. And the people locally in Dallas, they've always known my skill set. And guys have known. Guys have avoided that matchup. I mean, even leading up to this, trying to get a fight on Legacy, it just seemed like it was a little bit difficult. Yeah. Because that's who I was fighting for before.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it took you 3 opponents to get the second fight on the Contender Series. Yeah. It took 3 different opponents to finally get it done. So you just seem to be that guy, man, and one of those guys that has a real tough time. Like stylistically, I guess guys stay away from you or whatever the reason, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I feel like I'm well rounded, and with these fights, I haven't shown everything that I can bring to the table in the UFC, and I plan on showing that. I just don't feel like I have much of a weakness. I just need more time to kind of build into the fighter that I plan on being, and then I think some guys see that and they see where I've trained, they see who I've trained with, and they kind of stay away from that.
Was there ever a time over that period of 3 years where you just couldn't seem to get a fight, where you were just close to saying like, forget about it, like this isn't gonna, it's not gonna work for me, or I can't get that kind of momentum, like it's just not happening? Were you ever close to walking away?
I wouldn't say walking away, because I mean, this is something I just love to do. When you dream of doing something, and I'm one of the people I just don't feel like I'm not going to quit. I mean, obviously, I work a full-time job. I put in a lot of hours, behind the desk, and then I still, pursue my goals and dreams outside of that. So,
is that something you're going to continue to do? Work on a day job, or now that the UFC's come calling, is that something that's going to kind of slowly get pushed to the side?
No. I mean, I continue to do the same thing. I mean, it's worked so far. I mean, when my status becomes a little bit more prestige, and I kind of earned my UFC, roster, then my name on the roster, then I can pursue it full time. But I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's working so far.
Do you feel like you might have to do that to crack that like top 5, top 7, just for the level of the rest and just the supreme athlete that you have to be at that top 5, where you're getting the right rest, your nutrient, everything's right. You know what I mean? Do you feel like to crack that, you are going to have to walk away at some point?
Well, most definitely, yeah. I mean, I feel like to be at the upper echelon of fighters, I mean, you have to be 100% committed. So, I mean, yeah, definitely.
When you step into the, I think you were like a half a pound under for the 185 limit for this fight, I believe, right? Are you firm on 185 when you enter the UFC, or is 170 an option for you? What do you think?
I'm firm on 185. You know, I spent a lot of time in my career trying to compensate for, you know, my size and cutting down to 170. I feel like I'm less of a fighter at 170 pounds. I'm more of myself, and my power and speed and just athleticism translates more to me being 185 pounds. So I'm prepared to deal with it. You know, I fought guys as tall as 6'5" at 85. Mm-hmm. You know, agile guys at 6'4", 6'5". So I'm prepared for whatever size, you know, difference I might have. You know, Jamie Pickett was like 6'3", I think, 6'4". So.
Yeah, definitely some big guys. When you eyeball the division in the UFC, I'm sure you've done that. I'm sure you've gone over and seen who you'd like to fight, or maybe if there's a name that jumps off at you. How do you feel about the division? How do you feel like you stack up in the division? And is there anything you'd like? Any names that jump off at you?
Not at the moment, man. I don't feel like I'm in a position to call anybody out. I got to prove myself first. But, I mean, I look at myself as a typical guy. Like, if you look at guys that I watch a lot, like, I mean, not watch a lot, but, I mean, I've noticed, like, Kevin Gastelum is a guy that he was a 70-pounder, went up to 85, but, I mean, he's wrecking shop. Outside of the, you know, the Chris Weidman fight, but, I mean, Kevin Gastelum, a guy that he can fight at his natural weight, and he's explosive. He's dangerous on the feet, and he's a great wrestler, and I feel like I kind of bring that same variable to the weight class, where I'm not giving up so much trying to cut weight and size, but, you know, I feel like I can stand with anybody and wrestle with anybody.
Do you have a timetable for how soon you'd like to be a champion, or how soon you want to crack the top 5 or top 10? Do you set those kind of goals for yourself as a timeline?
Yeah, definitely. I give myself 2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
3 years, sorry.
2 years. No, 2 years. 2 years, I'll be top 5 or a champion. Guaranteed.
Sweet. And does that have anything to do with the fact that, you know, you're getting into the UFC a little bit later than most? Like, you'll be 33, I believe, correct? Yeah, 33.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little late. 34 soon. So it's a like that's a little later than most, you know, make their entrance into the UFC and start to make that to climb that ranks. Do you feel the need to maybe step on the gas a little bit? Is that why maybe you set those kind of time frames?
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm all the way in. It's all or nothing. I mean, yeah, I know that the clock is ticking, but the good thing is all those fights that I haven't been able to pursue early in my career kind of preserved my body to be able to make this push and, you know, and get to that point.
You know, I was cruising through your Instagram, man, to get off to go to a little less serious topic, man. I was cruising through your Instagram stuff. I noticed that you have a son and he trains a little bit. Is that something that you promote? What would you think if he came to you and said he wanted to be a fighter? Is that something that you would support?
Oh, man. I would support him if that's something he wanted to do. I would never make him fight. No, yeah. But if he wanted to do it, yeah, I would definitely support him, you know. I would make sure that he trained with me, and that you know, I would be 100% all the way in, you know, down the line.
Well, I seen you had him in there. He was throwing some jabs and stuff, man. You were working on some things. How much of your journey does he get to see, and how important it is to you for him to see that journey, the hard work, the hours? How much of that has he seen, and how important is that to you?
I mean, it's extremely important. Really, the main reason why I have pushed so hard to continue on this journey is to show him, like, you know, you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. Because, you know, no matter how many times people write you off, or you got setbacks and you got adversity, you can always get to your goal as long as you just keep pushing for it. So, I mean, he is a big part of why I continue to fight and why I continue to pursue, you know, this journey. And you know, and he doesn't understand it. My son has been there, and he's seen me. He's seen everything. He's been, you know, he's been in the gym and been with me, and, you know, since he was a little baby. So, I mean, he doesn't quite understand it yet, but I mean, when he gets older and it sets in, I think he will.
You know, what was the reaction when you came home with the UFC contract, man? It must have been a good day in your house.
It was a great day, man. My family treated me so well. They feel good. You know, good celebration for me. My sister baked a cake. I mean, it was a great response, you know, and to me, I'm the type of guy where I'm such a big, huge critic of myself. I know it's not enough for me, but I mean, just to know that I accomplished it, I mean, I'm definitely happy.
Sweet, man. Listen, Charles, I want to thank you, man, for taking some time to talk with us. I know you're a busy guy. Congratulations on the contract. I can't wait to see your debut in the octagon, man. I really look forward to it. You're an explosive guy, truly an exciting fighter. Thanks again for the time, bro. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
All right, brother. Talk to you later, man.
You think like in Dana's decision making on who's going to take that contract at the end of the thing, do you think the dropouts had anything to do with it? You know, he looks at he gets his guys to look obviously at the record and go, hold on, everybody's dropping out. Why are they dropping out? You know what I mean? Even though he didn't quite get that like, you know, he submitted the guy, no doubt about it. But you know
what I think it is too. It's just Joe Rogan said it the best, right? It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in both fights, he found himself in a bad place. Guys on his back, guys doing it, slinking in chokes, da-da-da. He didn't just turn things around and win in the third round. Like, he turned them around instantaneously.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, okay, you're on my back, you're choking me out, it looks really bad for me right now. Within a minute and a half, it's like, now he's on top.
It's true.
And he's dropping bombs. And, you know, and he got the choke out at the end of the first round. He almost choked out Randall Wallace at the end of the first round. The bell saved him. And then he comes out and chokes him out in the second round. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes it's just how you do it. Like, I think Dana White looked at him. He saw. I mean, he doesn't have a record. His record's not like 11. No, it's like 9-4 now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a 9-4 guy. He was 3-1 in his last 4 fights, and those 4 fights took place since 2013.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's not me saying something bad. What I'm saying is clearly his name brings a buzz in the community of MMA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You fought 3 times in 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
and
true.
Somehow, you know what I mean? Like, you're here
for sure. That's what I mean.
And
when he
that's
looks,
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
right. That his name obviously rings a bell. I never seen anybody with as many canceled fights as he had.
I didn't notice until you mentioned it.
Yeah, given how many fights he has, I never noticed nobody.
Yeah.
Who's gone through so many?
There's been a couple guys, but this is unbelievable, especially back to back too.
Yeah, like he missed the entire year of 2014.
Yeah.
Because of drop fights. Didn't fight once the entire year.
Wow.
Fought once in 2015, I think.
Yeah.
Crazy. You know what I mean? So I think he's a guy that his name rings a bell.
Yeah, even at 30, even though he's almost 34, he's more of a prospect than he is like he's not bringing. They're not bringing him to gatekeep. They see a lot of potential in him.
There's potential there.
Yeah.
He may end up being that. Who knows where what he ends up? That's a. But that division too, it used to be a gauntlet of killers, and now it's like a gauntlet of battle-tested veterans.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
It's true. Yeah.
It's true. You got Bisbig. I mean, you got Rockhold, Weidman, Mousasi's gone. You got
Jacare's done.
Jacare, those guys like done. You know what I mean?
Henderson's gone.
You're talking about just they don't have many young up and coming prospects. A lot of those guys are on the hair of retirement. So I think over the next 18 months, we're going to see an overhaul in that division, like a complete overhaul of the top 10. That's what I think.
I agree.
That's what I think. We had another great show this week. 3 great guests. Couldn't be happier with the way it went. Casey Kenney, AJ McKee, Charles Byrd. 3 great guys. Really glad to have them on the show. We'll be back next week. We'll have 3 or more great guests. So stay with us. And it's me, Jason Sutcliffe, with
Tristan Keddy.
And we're saying goodbye on another great week here at the Fight House. Enjoy.